Hi, welcome to another video podcast with Lewis Tech Web Design. Today I'm doing another video on organic groups with Drupal 7. Amitai was gracious enough to post the link to my first video on the organic groups homepage. But if you read it, he does give a disclaimer that he doesn't like using org views, he would rather use panels. And I figure if I'm going to be using his module, I should use it the way that he's developing it so that I don't get left behind. The problem is a lot of people are still having trouble integrating organic groups with panels in Drupal 7. The first thing I came across was this site, walking me through how to integrate panels with organic groups in Drupal 7. Unfortunately, however, I walked through this step by step and came out with a group that didn't work. It didn't display any of my content, which explains why a lot of people are still having trouble. So I came to this video, which is linked at the organic groups homepage. At the top, it's the first video. And I watched this video, and this solved everything for me. The problem with this video is that it's 45 minutes long, and it takes him about 15 minutes before he even starts showing you how to set up organic groups and panels. So this video is hopefully going to clear all of that up for everyone and show you how to set up organic groups in Drupal 7 using panels. I have since updated this documentation page with the information that I got from his video, so you should be able to walk through this step by step and come out with a working group. But for those of you who don't like reading, or would just rather watch someone do it, that's what this video is going to do. Now I have a fresh install of Drupal 7 here using the standard installation, and the modules I'm going to install are Chaos Tools, Entity API, Panels, Views, Organic Group, Create Permissions, and Groups. So the modules I enabled are Chaos Tools, Page Manager, Views Content Panes, org Create Permissions, Organic Groups Access Control, Organic Groups UI, Entity API, Panels, Views, and Views UI. Once you save this, you have to rebuild your permissions. Go ahead and just click Rebuild Permissions twice. Now we're going to create a group content type. To do that, we go to Structure, Content Types, and Add Content Type. And under the Group tab, we will select Group Type. Now we'll need to add a couple of group fields to our group content type. To do that, go to Configuration, Organic Groups, Field Settings. And we'll want to add to the group content type the group visibility field. This next step is optional, but you might want your groups to be private by default. And to that, we'll go to Manage Fields. And for the group visibility, we'll edit it. And right here, you can change the default to private. I'm going to leave it public for now, but I just want to let you know that option is available. So I'm going to go ahead and create a couple of groups. One will be private and one will be public. This first group I will leave as public. And the second group will be private. Okay, now if we go back to our groups homepage, you'll see both of our test groups. Now if we switch over to Firefox and refresh, the anonymous user can see the first group because it's public, but they cannot see the second group because it is private. Now we need to enable the article to be posted to a group and optionally be private. To do that, we need to go back to the Configuration, Organic Groups Field Settings. And this time to the article content type, we're going to add both group audience and group content visibility. And the final step is to go back to our content types and edit the article and just verify that it is a group content type and not a group type. And now this step is optional, but I like to have my articles default to be private when they're posted to a group. So to do that, go to the group content visibility, edit it, and set private as the default value. This will only affect an article if it is posted to a group. If you set it to private and it's not posted to a group, it will actually be public because it has nowhere to be displayed. Now I'm going to go create 4 articles, one private and one public for each group. First article will be a public post in group 1. Second article will be a private post in group 1. Third article will go to group 2 and be public. And the fourth article will go to group 2 and be private. Alright, so I've got my 4 articles created, and again, if we switch over to anonymous user and refresh, we only see articles 1 and 3 because those are public, 2 and 4 are private, with 1 in each of our groups. Now comes the panels integration. You're going to go to Structure, Pages, and enable the Node View template. Now we'll edit it. Now we will add a new variant, and we'll call this aug panel, and select both selection rules and context. Now for our context, we'll select node is a group, and add that, and is a group content, save, and continue. Now this step was missing from the original documentation. Under relationships, we need to select group from node. This is basically saying get the group information from this node, and we'll click finish and continue. Now I'm going to use the example from the documentation page that I referenced earlier and choose the flexible builder. And I am going to go ahead and disable the Drupal blocks and regions and continue. I'm going to check the Show Layout Designer, click on Row, add region to left. We'll just call it left region. And I'll drag it over to about 25% or as close as you can get. Hide the Layout Designer and click Create Variant. Now we need to add our content. We'll select the gear next to the left region and add content. I'm going to select the node category, then field group type. I'm going to set the formatter as group subscription. This will enable a subscribe to this group link for users. I'm also going to override the title, but just leave it blank. This just removes the title. And next I'm going to add a list of the group members. I'm going to select View Panes. Notice not views, View Panes, and aug members, and finish. Now for the center region, I'm going to add 2 things. I'm going to add the group body, the actual group content information, and then also all of the articles and everything that's been posted to the group. So we'll add content, node content. I'm going to uncheck the link title to node and change the build mode to full content, and finish. The last thing I'm going to add is the list of articles that are posted to the group. So once again, under View Panes, this time we'll add aug nodes. I'm going to go ahead and override the title and call it Group Articles. Okay, so now if we go down and update and save, and view our group, we should have panels enabled. And sure enough, it does. You notice the left sidebar is gone because we disabled the blocks and regions. We have our subscription information. If I was not a manager, it would say subscribe to group. In fact, let's switch over and check that out. Request group membership. You see the list of members and the group name and the body of the group. And then underneath group articles, you do see both of our articles. However, the anonymous users only see the public article. So this is just to demonstrate that you can have a private article in a public group. The last thing I want to do is get rid of where it says group visibility, because nobody really cares about that. And you'll notice that we have a duplicate request group membership link here. Since we put it over here, it's also in the group body. So I'm going to get rid of the group type and group visibility fields. To do that, we'll go to Structure, Content Types. For our group, we're going to manage Display, and we'll set the group type to Hidden, and the group visibility to Hidden. Save that. And now you notice that if we refresh, that's gone, and all we have is the group title, the body, and then the articles listed below. Okay, so there you go. Organic groups working in Drupal 7 with panels. Really not that hard once you get the idea. There's just a lot of missing documentation, so people new to it couldn't figure it out. I hope this will set everybody straight so that we can move forward with organic groups. The final thing I want to show you is how to configure who can post to your group and what they can post to your group. This is done with the add-on module, Organic Groups Create Permissions. If you click on the Group tab of our group, you'll see we have roles and permissions that are both read-only. That's because it's using the default group permissions. These are set at Configuration, Organic Groups Global Permissions, and Organic Groups Global Roles, respectively. Let's check out the permissions. Here you see a couple of things. First, you see the roles across the top, and the permissions available down the left side. You have a non-member role, a member role, and an administrator member role, and these are similar to the site-wide anonymous, authenticated, and administrator roles, but are specific to groups. You can add more roles just like you can site-wide, and we'll get to that in just a bit. As far as permissions go, if you would like all groups to have the exact same permissions, simply set permissions here, and you're done. If you would like a group or groups to have different permissions from the rest, keep watching. Back in the Group tab for our test group 2, if we click on Permissions, we'll see that these are the same thing that we have set up in the global permissions, and that we can't change them. One thing to note is that this create permissions, where we can set who can create new content, is only there because I have installed the Organic Groups Create Permissions module. Without that, you can only set who can edit and delete content. This means that anyone who's a member of your group and can create content site-wide can create it into your group. You might not want that, and that's what the Organic Groups Create Permissions module does. It lets us limit who can create what kind of content to our group. And at this point, no one can post anything to our group. You could set the global permissions to allow administrator members to post an article to your group, but you might not want that for all groups, and or you might want a user to be able to post an article to the group, but not give them all of the additional permissions that comes with being an administrator member. This is when you'd want to create a new role. So we're going to go to Configuration, Organic Group Field Settings, and this time to the group content type, we're going to add group roles and permissions. Now if we go back to our group and choose Edit, we can now choose to override the default roles and permissions. So I'll save that. And now if we go to the Group tab, the read-only text is gone. I'm going to add a new role to this group. I'm going to call this role Content Creator. Now I'll go back to the Group tab and edit the permissions. Now I see that we can edit the permissions for this group and that our new role has been added. Under Content Creator, check the box that says Article Create New Content. You may also want to let them edit their own content type and delete their own content type. That's up to you. If you were to create another role, for example, Content Moderator, you could give them the Edit Any or Delete Any roles so they can moderate the content that's posted to your group. So I'll go ahead and just save permissions. Okay, we've created groups. We've enabled content to be posted to those groups. We've set up panels to display all of our group content, as well as a subscription link and our group members. And we've configured who can post to our groups and what they can post to the group. I hope that you can take this information and roll with it and use it in all your projects. And I hope that it really makes it much easier for you to set up. Thanks for watching.